Discover the latest updates in the realms of cryptocurrency, politics, technology, and beyond. Discover the latest updates in the realms of cryptocurrency, politics, technology, and beyond. Stay informed with NewsSource Scrawlers edition from May 7, 2025, which provides a comprehensive daily news digest. Top songs on YouTube music charts, Global edition from April 25 to May 1, 2025. 1. Die with a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. 2. APT by Rose and Bruno Mars. 3. El Mayor de los Ranas by Victor Valverde and J.R. Torres. 4. Paso Bame Solto, Slowed, by ATLXS. Spotify Weekly Top Songs Global, spanning from Friday, April 18 to Thursday, April 24, 2025, includes the following tracks. Die with a Smile, by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, Ordinary by Alex Warren, Birds of a Feather, by Billie Eilish, and APT by Rose and Bruno Mars. Discover the most popular games on Steam. This list highlights the top-selling and most-played games worldwide. Based on the revenue rankings from the top 100 products, here are the standout titles for the week from Tuesday, April 22, 2025, to Tuesday, April 29, 2025. The Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion Remastered, Counter-Strike 2, Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, Schedule 1, and Last Epoch. CISA's Cybersecurity Alerts and Advisories. CISA issues recommendations regarding credential vulnerabilities linked to a possible compromise of older Oracle cloud systems. One more drop in the ocean of AI. Qwen 3-235BA22B represents the newest iteration in the Qwen series of large language models, providing a robust array of both dense and mixture of experts, MO, models. Developed through rigorous training, Qwen 3 achieves remarkable progress in areas such as reasoning, adherence to instructions, agent functionalities, and multilingual proficiency. It boasts several notable features: the ability to effortlessly switch between different thinking modes, a substantial improvement in reasoning skills, enhanced alignment with human preferences, specialized expertise in agent tasks, and support for over 100 languages and dialects, demonstrating strong capabilities in multilingual instruction following and translation. In the United Kingdom, there is a proposal to prohibit local councils from displaying flags that are considered politically progressive or woke. In Germany, Friedrich Merz has assumed the role of chancellor following a significant loss in the initial voting round. Cardinal Erdo from Hungary is gaining popularity among conservative circles as a potential candidate for the position of pope. A recent study has discovered that cinnamon could potentially impact the effectiveness of certain prescription medications. Chronic pain sufferers might find relief by acquiring the skill to manage negative emotions. Furthermore, a psychologist suggests that a significant portion of the British population is now identifying as neurodivergent. In the United States, the Department of Homeland Security is planning to provide a financial incentive of $1,000 to migrants who voluntarily return to their home countries. According to a report by The Washington Post, documents reveal that during his administration, Donald Trump's team encouraged Ukraine to accept deportees from the U.S. while the country was engaged in conflict. Members of the Venezuelan opposition have departed from the Argentine diplomatic compound after residing there for more than a year and have now arrived in the United States. The European Union is planning to introduce a proposal to prohibit the importation of Russian gas by the conclusion of the year 2027. In a related development, China has announced its intention to dispatch an honor guard to both Russia and Belarus to commemorate the Victory Day anniversary. Tensions between Russia and Ukraine have escalated as they engage in drone attacks against each other, occurring just prior to Chinese President Xi Jinping's scheduled visit to Moscow. Hamas asserts that there is no value in continuing truce negotiations with Gaza if Israel persists in what it describes as a hunger war. Meanwhile, Israel is reportedly considering occupying and completely destroying Gaza if no agreement is reached before Trump's visit, with an Israeli minister suggesting that Gaza should be completely destroyed and its residents relocated to third countries. Additionally, the Netherlands is advocating for a re-evaluation of the EU-Israel trade agreement due to what it calls the catastrophic blockade of aid to Gaza. The United States has imposed sanctions on a Myanmar warlord and a militia associated with cyber scams. In Peru's northern region, gold mining activities have been halted following the tragic deaths of 13 miners. The International Court of Justice, ICJ, has declared that it lacks jurisdiction in a genocide case brought against the United Arab Emirates, UAE. This development comes a month after Sudan accused the UAE of providing support and complicity in genocide at the World Court. U.S. crude oil prices have reached their lowest point since 2021 following OPEC+'s decision to increase production in June. The European Union is considering imposing tariffs on €100 billion worth of U.S. goods if negotiations do not succeed. China has criticized the United States for the serious negative impact of the tariffs imposed by former President Trump as trade discussions are about to commence. OpenAI has decided to maintain its nonprofit structure as the governing body of its business operations, responding to external pressure. Elon Musk's legal representative has stated that a proposed reform for OpenAI would not result in any significant changes. In other news, a recent study by AWS indicates that generative AI is set to surpass cybersecurity as a top priority in technology budgets for 2025. United Health has expanded its use of AI, now implementing it across 1,000 different applications, including in the claims process. Trump refutes claims of sharing an image of himself as the Pope, dismissing criticism. Trump declares Washington, D.C., as the location for the 2027 NFL Draft. Trump intends to reveal that the United States will rename the Persian Gulf as the Arabian Gulf, according to AP sources. Google inadvertently discloses information regarding its upcoming Android design language, known as Material 3 Expressive. Microsoft has officially included Fedora Linux as a supported distribution within its Windows subsystem for Linux, WSL. Cisco has introduced a prototype chip designed for quantum networking. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has instructed a reduction of 20% in the number of top military leadership roles. Former President Trump announced that a truce has been established with the Houthis, who have agreed to cease targeting ships. The Wall Street Journal has reported that the United States has instructed its intelligence agencies to intensify their surveillance activities in Greenland. A recent poll indicates that the majority of Americans rely on federal science information on a weekly basis, as reported by NPR. Trump is considering the elimination of the long-standing Energy Star efficiency program. Europe has committed to investing €500 million to attract scientists, contrasting with Trump's ongoing conflicts with universities. In the United States, authorities have apprehended and charged 764 individuals who were involved in running a worldwide child exploitation operation. The Federal Trade Commission, FTC, has reported that Instagram's recommendation system has been suggesting connections between individuals known as groomers and minors. Switzerland is taking steps to prohibit the physical punishment of children. Governor Newsom has indicated his openness to collaborating with President Trump on a proposed $7.5 billion federal tax credit aimed at supporting the U.S. entertainment industry. The White House has stated that no definitive decisions have been reached regarding movie tariffs, as they continue to consider all available options. Ford has announced that tariffs are expected to result in a $1.5 billion financial burden for the company by the year 2025. Furthermore, Mattel, the company behind Barbie, has revealed plans to increase product prices due to the impact of Trump's tariffs. Uber has collaborated with China's Pony AI to introduce self-driving taxis in a significant market located in the Middle East. Tesla is advancing its LiDAR-free self-driving technology in China while awaiting approval for its full self-driving (FSD) system from Beijing. Waymo has set a goal to increase the production of its robot Axis at its Arizona facility by doubling the output by the conclusion of 2026. In April, Xbox games dominated the PlayStation Store, occupying the top 3 spots in sales. Minecraft has announced the end of its VR support. In the tech sector, Seagate anticipates a significant increase in hard drive capacity, predicting a tripling by 2030 due to the rising demand for AI. Across the pond, Deliveroo has reached an agreement for a £2.9 billion acquisition by its American competitor, DoorDash. During a meeting in the Oval Office with President Trump, Canadian Prime Minister Carney firmly stated that Canada is not for sale, it won't be for sale, ever. In response, Trump remarked, "Never say never." Bloomberg reported on this encounter, highlighting Carney's attempt to engage Trump through discussions about real estate. Britain and India have reached a £5 billion free trade agreement, which includes provisions for visas and tariffs on products such as cars, textiles, and whiskey. CNN noted that the first vessels transporting Chinese goods, subject to 145% tariffs, have arrived in Los Angeles, but they are only half full, raising concerns about potential shortages. The Trump administration plans to withhold wages from 5.3 million individuals who have defaulted on their student loans this upcoming summer. According to CNBC, the impact of Trump's trade tariffs has expanded to encompass nearly all exports from the United States, as indicated by supply chain data. Purchasing a home in the United States now necessitates an additional $50,000 in annual income compared to renting. India launched military actions against Pakistan in response to the murder of tourists, while Pakistan claims that Indian aircraft were shot down. The International Monetary Fund's April outlook anticipates that India will rise to the position of the fourth largest economy by the year 2025. A recent report indicates that India's film, television, and streaming sectors generated a total revenue of 1.1 trillion Indian rupees during the fiscal year 2024. Denzel Washington and Spike Lee collaborate for the fifth occasion in Apple's chic new crime thriller. Apple TV Plus renews The Studio for a second season. Google introduces a film production project aiming to offer a positive perspective on technology, contrasting with Black Mirror. Sotheby's abruptly stopped a planned auction of Buddha relics in Hong Kong following India's intervention. The New York Times secured 4 Pulitzer Prizes, while The New Yorker received 3. The Washington Post was awarded for its reporting on the Trump shooting incident and its editorial cartoons. The Baltimore Banner earned a Pulitzer Prize for its coverage of the overdose crisis. A ship from the World War II era sank unexpectedly before it could be used as a target in military exercises conducted by the U.S. and the Philippines. Trump minimizes importance of trade talks, asserts control over terms. The United States and China are set to commence official trade discussions in Switzerland following a series of tariff impositions, with Trump administration officials Bessent and Greer scheduled to engage with their Chinese counterparts on matters related to trade and the economy. Analysts suggest that the recent rise in Taiwan's currency serves as a warning shot regarding the potential de-dollarization in Asia. The U.S. commodities regulator is considering withdrawing its appeal regarding Kalshi's election betting offers. Data indicates that 58 cryptocurrency wallets have profited significantly from Trump's meme coin, while 764,000 have incurred losses. Senate Democrats are opposing a crypto bill, partly due to criticism of Trump's connections to the industry. Traders earned $100 million by purchasing Melania Trump's meme coin before its release. Axios has reported that Democrats are focusing on the Trump family's cryptocurrency ventures. Just 2 days prior, it was announced that Democrats are urging an investigation into a Trump family cryptocurrency deal, suspecting potential foreign influence. The Trump administration has requested a court to dismiss a lawsuit that limits access to an abortion medication. An analysis has revealed that the term Biden was one of the most commonly used words in the Trump White House. In the United States, the Supreme Court has allowed Trump's ban on transgender military personnel to remain in effect while the legal case proceeds. Donald Trump's criticism of green energy might negatively impact the United States in the artificial intelligence competition, according to warnings from data center experts. NBC plans to utilize AI technology to recreate the voice of the renowned NBA narrator Jim Fagan for the upcoming season. In the United Kingdom, the Solicitors Regulation Authority has given its approval to Garfield, an AI-driven law firm that charges a fee of £2. Researchers have discovered subtle indications that ancient Mars experienced rainy days as well. The UK government has acknowledged that there is nearly no evidence to suggest that nature protections hinder development. The earliest known remains of a domestic cat in America have been discovered in a 466-year-old Spanish shipwreck located near Florida. Tether has ventured into the artificial intelligence sector with the launch of Tether.ai. New Hampshire has become the first state in the United States to enact a bill establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Furthermore, under Trump's administration, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB, has ceased enforcing the rule concerning buy now, pay later arrangements, marking another step in the reduction of consumer protection measures. Samsung Wallet introduces a new tap-to-transfer feature that is compatible with both digital and physical cards. Google reveals AI Max for search campaigns, promising a 14% increase in conversions or conversion value while maintaining a comparable cost per acquisition. Tuvalu celebrates a significant milestone with the introduction of its first automated teller machines. Reuters has announced that Shein and Temu are increasing their advertising efforts in the UK and France following the impact of US tariffs. Both companies have experienced a decline in US sales in the week immediately after the tariff price increases were implemented. TikTok, which is currently facing the possibility of a ban in the United States, has reassured advertisers by expressing confidence and stating that they remain present. In another development, the US government is advocating for the division of Google's advertising businesses. Furthermore, NVIDIA's CEO has expressed that being excluded from the Chinese AI market would result in a tremendous loss, while AMD has cautioned of a potential $1.5 billion reduction in sales in China, despite having a more optimistic outlook for 2025. Baidu has filed a patent application that outlines its intentions to develop technology capable of converting animal sounds into human language. Amazon has announced a significant advancement in robotics, introducing a device equipped with the ability to sense touch. IBM's CEO has stated that artificial intelligence has led to the displacement of hundreds of employees, although it has also generated new opportunities in programming and sales roles. The FDA has selected a critic of COVID booster shots to become the new head of its vaccines division. The Washington Post has announced that, following Trump's recommendation, the USPS board plans to appoint a FedEx executive as the new Postmaster General. The Trump administration has declared that it will prevent Harvard from obtaining any future grants. A scathing report has concluded that the FBI mishandled the investigation into the 2017 congressional baseball shooting, minimizing the gunman's anti-Republican motivations. In a significant development in the United States, the DEA has executed the largest fentanyl seizure in its history, capturing over 400 kilograms in an unprecedented operation. A declassified memo reveals that U.S. spy agencies do not believe Venezuela is orchestrating gang activities. NSO Group is required to compensate WhatsApp with over $167 million due to a spyware operation. A significant number of leading e-commerce platforms are currently being targeted as a result of a vulnerability in the Magento supply chain. Credit Suisse has agreed to pay $511 million as part of a settlement with the U.S. Department of Justice regarding a tax-related issue.
Discover the latest updates in the realms of cryptocurrency, politics, technology, and beyond. Stay informed with NewsSource Crawler's edition from May 5, 2025, which provides a comprehensive daily news digest. Top songs on YouTube music charts, Global Edition from April 25 to May 1, 2025. 1. Die with a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars 2. APT by Rose and Bruno Mars 3. El Mayor de los Ranas by Victor Valverde and Jair Torres 4. Paso Bame Solto, Slowed by ATLXS. Spotify Weekly Top Songs Global, spanning from Friday, April 18 to Thursday, April 24, 2025, includes the following tracks. Die with a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, Ordinary by Alex Warren, Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish, and APT by Rose and Bruno Mars. Discover the most popular games on Steam. This list highlights the top-selling and most played games worldwide. Based on the revenue rankings from the top 100 products, here are the standout titles for the week from Tuesday, April 22, 2025, to Tuesday, April 29, 2025. The Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion Remastered, Counter-Strike 2, Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, Schedule 1, and Last Epoch. CISA's cybersecurity alerts and advisories. CISA issues recommendations regarding credential vulnerabilities linked to a possible compromise of older Oracle cloud systems. One more drop in the ocean of AI. Qwen 3-235BA22B represents the newest iteration in the Qwen series of large language models, providing a robust array of both dense and mixture of experts models. Developed through rigorous training, Qwen 3 achieves remarkable progress in areas such as reasoning, adherence to instructions, agent functionalities, and multilingual proficiency. It boasts several notable features: the ability to effortlessly switch between different thinking modes, a substantial improvement in reasoning skills, enhanced alignment with human preferences, specialized expertise in agent tasks, and support for over 100 languages and dialects, demonstrating strong capabilities in multilingual instruction following and translation. Pakistan has carried out a missile test as tensions with India intensify, while the Pakistan Air Force has displayed advanced Chinese weaponry, further escalating the situation. In response, India has imposed a series of restrictions, including halting mail, imports, and ship arrivals from Pakistan, as the conflict heats up. India has withdrawn its nominee for the International Monetary Fund just before the organization is set to consider a $1.3 billion loan to Pakistan. China's military has disclosed specific information about the Type 094 nuclear submarine for the first time. Tensions between Japan and China have escalated as both nations accuse each other of infringing on airspace near the contested East China Sea islands. This conflict has intensified following an incident where ultranationalists reportedly flew a plane over the Diaoyu Islands. DeepSeek's AI model is reportedly being utilized to develop new Chinese warplanes, according to a leading engineer. More than 18 million high school graduates in the Philippines lack the basic reading and writing skills necessary for daily life. In a move to advance its educational sector, the United Arab Emirates has introduced artificial intelligence technology for school children. In California, Democratic lawmakers have voted against a proposal to impose stricter penalties for individuals who solicit sexual services from teenagers who are 17 years old or older. Ireland has imposed a fine of €530 million on TikTok for transferring data of EU users to China. Facebook was reportedly caught when teenage girls removed their selfies, which the platform used to target them with beauty advertisements. The messaging app, a clone of Signal, which was utilized by the Trump administration, has been hacked. A report by Waymo indicates that robotaxis are already contributing to enhanced road safety. Uber has entered into an agreement with Momenta to introduce a robotaxi service in Europe by the following year. Furthermore, it has been reported that a Waymo robotaxi was stopped by the police in Tokyo. Vance predicts that the conflict in Ukraine will persist for an extended period, shortly after the United States finalizes a minerals agreement with Kyiv. A French minister identifies Putin as the primary barrier to achieving peace, as the European Union gears up for its 17th round of sanctions, according to AFP. Europe has confiscated $3.4 billion in frozen Russian assets to reimburse Western investors. Furthermore, the Czech Republic is taking the lead in discussions regarding ammunition supplies for Ukraine, with plans extending into 2026. A large gathering of Islamists in Bangladesh is protesting against suggested amendments to women's rights laws. Turkish President Erdogan has assured demonstrators in northern Cyprus, who are opposing the perceived Islamification of the region, that their efforts will be unsuccessful. Earlier, Turkish Cypriots had taken to the streets to express their discontent over Turkey's alleged integration of Islamic elements into the education system, particularly the new regulation permitting the hijab in schools, coinciding with Erdogan's visit. Israeli officials have announced a new strategy aimed at taking control of the entire Gaza Strip. Trump reiterates his stance that the government will take away Harvard's tax-exempt status. Frank Bisignano, who identifies as a Doge person, has his confirmation hearing scheduled to head Social Security. The South China Morning Post, SCMP, shares that Goldman Sachs predicts the Federal Reserve might reduce interest rates by 0.75 percentage point due to the ongoing tariff conflict. China's innovative 2D chip technology is on the verge of being utilized in the production of chips that do not rely on silicon. The Pentagon has transitioned its AI metals program to the private sector in an effort to enhance supply agreements within the Western Bloc. analysts have suggested that a recent earthquake in Myanmar might have caused disruptions in China's rare earth supplies. However, it was reported 15 days ago that China's exports of rare earths in March surged, as the disruption in Myanmar kept potential buyers anxious. The South China Morning Post, SCMP, has indicated that Ukraine does not possess the necessary capacity to replace China as a supplier of critical minerals, according to analysts. People who frequently use saunas often claim to experience improved health, increased energy levels, and heightened happiness. Research indicates that liberals tend to display less empathy towards those with opposing political views compared to conservatives. A majority of individuals hold the belief that they are more deserving of good karma than their peers. The London Marathon has received an unprecedented number of 1.1 million applications for the 2026 event. In a separate development, Nicaragua has decided to withdraw from UNESCO following the recognition of an exiled newspaper with an award. Firefighters at the Vatican have been busy installing a chimney on the roof of the Sistine Chapel in preparation for the upcoming papal election. Australia's centre-left Labour Party continues to hold power following an election that was viewed as a gauge of public sentiment against Trump. Australia's Prime Minister Albanese engaged in a warm conversation with Trump regarding the AUKUS agreement and tariffs. In Portugal, the government has declared the expulsion of 18,000 foreigners in anticipation of an upcoming national election. Singapore's People's Action Party, PAP, has extended its 66-year dominance over the government, securing another landslide victory in the election, which serves as a boost for the new prime minister. Trump has expressed his willingness to engage in discussions with any CEO who intends to increase prices as a result of tariffs. He mentioned that he would consider extending the deadline for the TikTok ban beyond June 19. Furthermore, Temu has announced that it will cease selling products directly from China to U.S. customers, stating that it will now only ship from the U.S. However, this does not imply that the products are manufactured in the United States. The UK is getting ready to prohibit individuals from purchasing cryptocurrency using borrowed money. In the United States, the average income required to buy a median-priced home has reached 6 figures. Brazil's Social Security Minister has resigned following an investigation into pension fraud. Apple and Anthropic have joined forces to develop an AI-driven platform known as vibe coding. Meanwhile, Eric Schmidt has reportedly acquired Relativity Space with the intention of establishing data centers in space. Google plans to allow children to utilize its Gemini AI technology. Astronomers have found a massive, luminous molecular cloud concealed in the vicinity of Earth's cosmic surroundings. Scientists have made the discovery that magnetar starquakes might be capable of creating gold in the vastness of space. Furthermore, evidence supporting the existence of the debated Planet 9 has been identified in sky surveys conducted over a span of 23 years. By the year 2027, all newly constructed homes in England will be equipped with solar panels. In a recent weather modification experiment conducted by China, a small amount of cloud seed was used to generate an impressive 30 swimming pools worth of rain. A study has revealed that satellites that are nearing the end of their operational life can contribute to climate change and the depletion of the ozone layer. Warren Buffett, who is 94 years old, is resigning from his position as the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway. Google is willing to consider sharing real-time bidding information with its competitors, although it opposes the idea of being broken up. In China, the number of coffee shops has increased by 12,000, reflecting a growing demand among the general population, which is impacting Starbucks negatively. Mexico's president has stated that she declined Trump's proposal to deploy U.S. troops across the border. Trump has acknowledged making this offer to Mexico, but he claims that Sheinbaum is so terrified of the cartels that she can't even walk. Trump mentioned that he doesn't rule out the possibility of using military force to manage Greenland, although he noted that it is highly unlikely for the U.S. to deploy military forces to make Canada the 51st state. Furthermore, Trump has declared that he will only agree to the complete dismantling of Iran's nuclear program. Archaeologists examined the dimensions of 50,000 ancient dwellings to gain insights into the historical development of inequality, discovering that it is not an unavoidable outcome. Genomic analysis reveals that all roses, whether red, pink, or white, originally were yellow. A biotechnology company has developed a weight loss pill designed to replicate the effects of gastric bypass surgery. In the United States, a judge dismissed a lawsuit featuring a dragon logo, describing it as juvenile and impertinent. The White House shared an AI-generated image of Trump depicted as a muscular Jedi, wishing everyone a happy May the 4th. Mr. Deepfakes, the largest deepfake pornography website online, announced its permanent closure. The CIA and other intelligence agencies are expected to reduce their staff as part of a plan by the Trump administration, which includes a proposed $163 billion reduction in the U.S. budget, significantly cutting domestic spending. China's offshore yuan has reached a 6-month high, with anticipation of a reversal of what are considered egregious tariffs. Trump has faced criticism for using an AI-generated image of himself as the Pope in the lead-up to the papal conclave. In a Syrian town plagued by violence, the Druze community has reached an agreement to disarm their militias, emphasizing their unity with the phrase, "We're all in one ship." Meanwhile, Israeli cabinet ministers are set to deliberate on the possibility of intensifying the conflict in Gaza, as Israel mobilizes tens of thousands of reservists to broaden the military operations there. A Pope Mobile in the West Bank is being repurposed into a mobile clinic to provide medical care for children injured in Gaza. President Trump discusses potential future leaders, including Rubio and Vance. Trump expresses uncertainty about whether he is required to adhere to constitutional due process. Elon Musk claims he and Trump agree on most issues, approximately 80% of the time. A man who voluntarily injected himself with snake venom for a period of 18 years has contributed to the development of a significant new antivenom. Research has shown that the brain plays a crucial role in sensing the body's metabolic state, which in turn influences the circulation of monocytes. Furthermore, in the United States, the Food and Drug Administration has recently given its approval for the first CRISPR-edited pigs intended for human consumption. Nintendo started developing the Switch 2 shortly after the original Switch was launched, as disclosed in recent janky lawsuit documents. Rockstar Games has announced that the release of GTA 6 has been delayed until 2026 and has issued an apology for the postponement. Furthermore, there are reports that Half-Life 3 is fully playable and might be officially announced this year. Disney created its Walt Disney robot to serve as a reminder to fans that he was a real person. Trump has imposed a 100% tariff on movies produced abroad in an effort to revive the struggling Hollywood industry, with Australia and New Zealand expressing their support for the film sector following Trump's tariff proposal. A report indicates that California, which was once a hub for animation work, is quickly losing its position in the industry. The Rolling Stones have expressed concerns about individuals losing loved ones due to spiritual fantasies fueled by artificial intelligence. Instagram's co-founder has cautioned that AI chatbots are primarily focused on increasing engagement rather than providing genuine utility. Furthermore, numerous YouTube channels are displaying AI-generated content that features cartoon gore and fetish themes. The United Nations and various aid organizations have criticized a proposal by Israel and the United States regarding the delivery of aid to Gaza. This plan involves Israel overseeing the distribution of aid within Gaza and employing contractors from the United States for the task. In a separate development, law enforcement in the United Kingdom has detained 7 individuals from Iran as part of ongoing counterterrorism investigations. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has suggested reopening the Alcatraz prison to accommodate what he describes as the most ruthless and violent offenders. Putin expresses his hope that nuclear weapons will not be necessary in Ukraine, while also asserting that Russia possesses the strength and means to conclude the conflict there. Trump indicates that he might walk away from the Russia-Ukraine negotiations, pointing to tremendous hatred existing on both sides. The BBC reports on the staggering losses Russia suffered in Ukraine in 2024, noting a rate of 27 lives per kilometer. In the United States, the Democratic Party has shifted its stance to oppose a proposed cryptocurrency bill in the Senate. The governor of Arizona has labeled cryptocurrency as an untested investment and has decided to veto a bill aimed at establishing a Bitcoin reserve. The U.S. Treasury is taking action to sever financial ties with Cambodia's Hui-1 Group due to allegations of laundering over $4 billion. Google has the capability to train its search AI using web content even after users have opted out. Advertisers are considering reductions in their TV advertising budgets due to increasing economic concerns. In contrast, Amazon's advertising business experienced a 19% growth in the first quarter, surpassing the expectations of analysts. In the United Kingdom, the Co-op has issued an apology following a cyber attack by the Dragonforce hacking group, which resulted in the theft of personal information from 20 million of its customers. Hackers have been exploiting a feature of IPv6 networking to take control of software updates. In the United States, a Yemeni man has been indicted in federal court on charges of distributing the Black Kingdom malware, which was used to extort money from businesses, schools, and medical clinics by infecting approximately 1,500 computer systems across the United States and other countries. Apple plans to procure billions worth of chips manufactured in the U.S. as part of a supply chain transformation. Beijing considers proposing a fentanyl deal to the U.S. to initiate trade discussions. Federal authorities initiate investigation into UC Berkeley for concealing millions in financial support from China and other nations. The Washington Examiner highlights that CCP officials and Chinese state organizations contributed substantial donations to UC Berkeley, report. Pence describes the unsuccessful January 6 attack as a victory for freedom while accepting the JFK Profile in Courage Award. A book reveals that Biden's aides opted not to conduct a cognitive test in early 2024. A former Bush housing official alleges that the government has allocated $21 trillion to construct an underground doomsday base. Rubio and the German Foreign Ministry engage in a heated exchange on X, with Rubio accusing Germany of tyranny in disguise while Germany defends its classification of the AfD as an extremist group. In the UK, Starmer is strategizing to adopt a stricter stance on migration to address the challenge posed by Farage. Exit polls indicate that a far-right supporter of Trump has advanced to the second round of Romania's presidential election rerun.
Discover the latest updates in the realms of cryptocurrency, politics, technology. Latest updates in the realms of cryptocurrency, politics, technology, and beyond. Stay informed with NewsSource Scrawlers edition from May 2nd. Stay informed with NewsSource Scrawlers edition from May 2nd, 2025, which provides a comprehensive daily news digest. Top songs on YouTube music charts, Global Edition from April 18th to April 24th. Music charts, Global Edition from April 18th to April 24th, 2025. 1. Die With a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. 2. APT by Rose and Bruno Mars. 3. Paso Bame Solto, Slowed, by ATLXS4. El Mayor de los Ranas by Victor Valverde and J.R. Torres. Spotify Weekly Top Songs Global, spanning from Friday, April 18th to Thursday, April 24th, 2025, includes the following tracks. Die With a Smile, by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, Ordinary by Alex Warren, Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish, and APT by Rose and Bruno Mars. Top-selling digitalish, and APT by Rose and Bruno Mars. Top-selling digital games on Nintendo US as of April 28, 2025. Minecraft, Little Friends, Dogs and Cats, NBA 2K25, EA Sports FC 25. Discover the most popular games on Steam. This list highlights the top-selling and most played games worldwide. Based on the revenue rankings from the top 100 products, here are the standout titles for the period from Tuesday, April 15, 2025, to Tuesday, April 22, 2025. Counter-Strike 2, RuneScape, Dragon Wilds, Schedule 1, and Last Epoch. CISA's cybersecurity alerts and advisories. CISA issues recommendations regarding credential vulnerabilities linked to a possible compromise of older Oracle cloud systems. One more drop in the ocean of AI. Dia 1.6b Binary Labs. Dia is a text-to-speech model with 1.6 billion parameters, developed by Binary Labs. It was uploaded to the hub using the PyTorch Model Hub Mixin integration. Dia is capable of producing highly realistic dialogue directly from a transcript. Users can influence the output by conditioning it on audio, allowing for control over emotion and tone. The model can generate nonverbal sounds such as laughter, coughing, and throat clearing. To support research advancements, we offer access to pre-trained model checkpoints and inference code. The model's weights are available on Hugging Face. Currently, Dia only supports generating text in English. The Asian American Foundation revealed that the general American public perceives no rise in prejudice against Asian Americans, a sentiment that is contradicted by Asian Americans themselves. Rwanda has expressed a positive response to Donald Trump's request to accept non-citizen deportees, as the Trump administration considers relocating migrants to both Libya and Rwanda, according to sources. German intelligence has classified the Alternative for Germany, AfD, as a right-wing extremist endeavor. Gina Rinehart, the wealthiest individual in Australia, expresses her desire for reforms similar to those implemented by Donald Trump as the country approaches its election. A deal involving a Trump golf course has been revealed in Qatar, coinciding with the upcoming visit of the United States president. Furthermore, an Abu Dhabi-based company plans to invest $2 billion in Binance, utilizing Trump's cryptocurrency venture. SCMP provides commentary as it becomes apparent that a more powerful China is observing to determine which of Trump's advisors will gain the upper hand regarding tariffs, according to sources. Trump suggests that American children might receive only $2 instead of 30, yet he insists that China will endure greater hardships in a trade conflict. He calls for patience and attributes the weak economic news to Biden. Japanese lawmakers caution that U.S. tariffs pose a threat to security, not merely economic relations, as China's influence grows. Japan indicates that its $1 trillion investment in U.S. treasuries could serve as leverage in trade discussions, while the Bank of Japan plans to maintain interest rates and reduce growth forecasts. The United States and Ukraine have reached a highly anticipated agreement on minerals to aid in the reconstruction of Kyiv and to help repay the assistance provided. Former President Trump is set to propose Mike Waltz, his current national security advisor, for the position of UN ambassador, following Waltz's anticipated exit from the administration. Waltz was observed using a modified version of the Signal app during a cabinet meeting. In the U.S., the Treasury Department has imposed sanctions on the CJNG, a significant Mexican cartel, due to its involvement in fentanyl trafficking and fuel theft. Apple has faced criticism for breaching App Store regulations in the Fortnite case, with plans to appeal after a court determined that the company and an executive provided false testimony during the Epic Games trial. In response to a recent ruling, Epic Games is introducing web shops to enable developers to bypass App Store fees, aiming at Apple with a zero-commission strategy and an App Store alternative. Patreon intends to modify its iPhone app to avoid using Apple's payment system. Fortnite is set to return to the US iOS App Store following a court decision that Apple intentionally disregarded a court order in the Epic Games lawsuit. Sundar Pichai has expressed that the demands from the Department of Justice are essentially equivalent to a forced separation of Google's search function. According to Reuters, Adani has temporarily halted discussions with Israel's Tower regarding a $10 billion investment in India's chip industry, as indicated by sources. Mark Andreessen has stated that the role of a venture capitalist is largely secure from being replaced by artificial intelligence. Apple informs fresh victims of global spyware attacks. Ascension reveals a data breach possibly connected to the Clio hack. In the United Kingdom, Co-op is compelled to close a segment of its IT system following a hack attempt. Economists argue that generative AI is not significantly impacting wages, displacing workers, or reducing time spent on tasks. Meta's capital expenditure is experiencing inflation, driven by Mark Zuckerberg's enthusiasm for AI and the influence of Trump-era tariffs, leading to infrastructure spending that could reach up to $72 billion. Google is investing in training electricians as the demand for power increases due to AI advancements. Visa Intelligent Commerce is leveraging AI to enhance the shopping experience by partnering with companies like Anthropic, IBM, Microsoft, Mistral AI, OpenAI, Perplexity, Samsung, Stripe, and others. This collaboration aims to develop AI-ready cards, offer AI-powered personalization, and facilitate simple and secure AI payments. Google is integrating Places ads into chatbot conversations with AI startups. Mark Zuckerberg is considering introducing a premium tier and ads for Meta's AI application. The chair of Tesla has refuted any intentions to search for a new CEO to take over from Elon Musk, despite a previous Wall Street Journal report suggesting that the Tesla board had initiated a search for a successor to Musk. In other news, Uber has reached an agreement with May Mobility to introduce thousands of robot access. Anthropic has claimed that NVIDIA GPUs are being smuggled into China concealed in prosthetics, a claim that NVIDIA has dismissed as completely false. This follows a report from 9 months ago by The Information, which stated that the smuggling of NVIDIA AI chips into China had become an industry. Sam Altman's innovative project involving eye scanning technology for identification has officially commenced in the United States, initially operating at 6 different locations. In a related development, Meta has revised its policy concerning smart glasses, aiming to broaden the scope of AI data collection. A study has emerged, alleging that LM Arena is assisting leading AI laboratories in manipulating its benchmark results. Mosquitoes have been found as far north as Shetland in a comprehensive study conducted across Scotland. Mongolia has introduced an ambitious plan to enhance tourism, aiming to increase the industry's contribution to the GDP to 10% by the year 2030. In Kuwait, authorities are taking strict measures against cryptocurrency mining due to an ongoing power crisis. Multiplayer maps for Assassin's Creed Shadows have been found within the game's files. Mark Zuckerberg reassures people not to be concerned about the loneliness epidemic, suggesting that he can replicate all their friends using artificial intelligence. DML, Lab-Grown Leather Limited, and the Organoid Company have teamed up to develop the world's first T-Rex leather. Microsoft has unveiled 5.4 Reasoning, 5.4 Reasoning Plus, and 5.4 Mini Reasoning, which are capable of competing with significantly larger models in handling complex reasoning tasks. Xiaomi's MIMO has demonstrated impressive performance, surpassing both OpenAI and Alibaba in AI evaluations, marking Xiaomi's entry into the AI world with the MIMO 7B, a formidable model that outperforms OpenAI. Google's CEO expressed optimism that Gemini will become an integral part of Apple Intelligence within the year. The United States House of Representatives has taken a vote to prevent California from implementing a ban on the sale of gasoline-powered vehicles by the year 2035. The U.S. Department of Justice has initiated legal action against the states of Hawaii and Michigan, challenging their intentions to pursue lawsuits against companies involved in the fossil fuel industry. Furthermore, the Senate has voted to reverse a regulation set by the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, concerning 7 substances that are considered highly toxic to the air. Spain's grid denies dependence on solar power to blame for blackout, as U.S. Energy Secretary tries to blame renewables for Spain's power outage. Financial Times comments as, Spain and Portugal blackout blamed on solar power dependency. India extends mandate for imported coal-based power plants. Oil major Shell launches $3.5 billion share buyback after first quarter profit beat. Israeli Prime Minister emphasizes the priority of defeating Hamas over rescuing hostages. Wildfires in Israel lead to evacuations in towns close to Jerusalem, while Hamas urges Palestinians to burn all they can during these fires, stating, "All you have to do is burn." Additionally, a Druze spiritual leader requests Israeli intervention in sectarian conflicts in Syria, prompting Israel to conduct airstrikes near the Syrian presidential palace in Damascus. The Trump administration has published a comprehensive 400-page evaluation of gender dysphoria treatment options for young individuals, though it has not disclosed the authorship. The Football Association in England is planning to prohibit transgender women from participating in women's football. Furthermore, it has been observed that human wounds heal at a significantly slower rate compared to those of other mammals. General Motors has reduced its financial outlook, anticipating a potential impact of up to $5 billion due to tariffs. McDonald's has experienced a surprising decrease in store visits, with customers expressing growing concerns about the economic situation, resulting in the company's first drop in U.S. comparable sales since 2020. Apple is preparing for a $900 million tariff impact as it transitions its U.S. iPhone production from China to India, with plans to have most of its devices shipped into the U.S. from India and Vietnam. Chinese PLA soldiers participated in Vietnam's Fall of Saigon parade for the first time, as Vietnam celebrated the 50th anniversary of the event with a grand ceremony. In the United States, Hegseth has called for a comprehensive transformation of the U.S. Army, which involves merging various offices and reducing the number of weapons. Vance expressed the U.S.'s hope that Pakistan will collaborate with India to combat militants based in Pakistan. According to Reuters, Iran harbored imperial aspirations in Syria, but secret embassy documents reveal the reasons behind its failure. An NGO claims that a ship transporting activists and aid to Gaza was attacked by drones. Furthermore, it has been reported that the IDF is planning a significant change in the delivery of aid to Gaza to prevent diversion by Hamas. China is considering American suggestions to reduce the ongoing tariff conflict. The Wall Street Journal provides commentary on how the trade war highlights China's reliance on the United States for automotive chips. The United States is contemplating relaxing restrictions on NVIDIA chips for the United Arab Emirates, coinciding with former President Trump's planned visit. Doge claims to have achieved savings of $160 billion. However, an analysis indicates that these savings have resulted in a cost of $135 billion to taxpayers. The Senate has approved a bill aimed at repealing a Biden-era regulation concerning energy standards for appliances. Furthermore, the Pentagon plans to incorporate right-to-repair provisions into Army contracts. Tether reported that its exposure to the U.S. Treasury reached nearly $120 billion during the first quarter of the year, while also announcing a profit of $1 billion. Ripple has made an offer to acquire Circle, a competitor in the stablecoin market, for a sum of up to $5 billion. Furthermore, Visa and Stripe's partner, Bridge, is collaborating to enhance the functionality of stablecoin-based debit and credit cards. President Trump has issued an executive order that instructs the reduction of federal financial support for both PBS and NPR. The White House has introduced a new website, modeled after Drudge Report, aimed at promoting President Trump. U.S. prosecutors have brought charges against major insurance companies, alleging that they engaged in the payment of kickbacks to secure private Medicare plans. SAG-AFTRA has established an influencer committee as it continues to expand its presence in the creator economy. According to Axios, the number of digital creator jobs has increased by a factor of 7.5 since the pandemic began. TikTok has surpassed Twitch to become the second most viewed streaming platform online, with creators reportedly earning $10 million daily. Agatha Christie's legacy is brought to life through an AI-enhanced writing course offered by the BBC Maestro. Wikipedia plans to incorporate AI technology, though it will not substitute the efforts of human volunteers. Norway's oil fund aims to achieve $400 million in trading cost savings by leveraging AI. The GOP allegedly pressured a billboard company to take down advertisements by Democrats highlighting Medicaid reductions, raising concerns about free speech. Variety reported on Trump's inaccurate assertion that 60 Minutes confessed to altering Harris's interview in a deceptive manner. The Wall Street Journal mentioned that Paramount executives considered resolving Trump's lawsuit with a settlement of up to $20 million. In another development, Walz suggested that Harris chose him as her vice presidential running mate to communicate effectively with white men. UK Culture Secretary Lisa Nandy has stated that there will be no imposition of a levy on streaming services. According to Reuters, TikTok has confirmed its intention to construct a data center valued at €1 billion in Finland. LinkedIn is sharing its advertising revenue with creators as part of its strategy to enhance video content. RFK Jr. has requested the CDC to provide updated guidance on measles treatment, despite his baseless assertions. The Washington Post has highlighted that RFK Jr. intends to mandate placebo testing for new vaccines, which has raised concerns among health experts. Nature magazine informs that the NIH in the U.S. plans to terminate billions of dollars in foreign research grants. The Wall Street Journal reports that RFK Jr. is investing $500 million in universal vaccines, marking a shift from his previous focus on COVID-19 funding. Airbus plans to circumvent Trump's tariffs by supplying aircraft to U.S. airlines from locations outside the United States, according to its CEO. Amazon CEO asserts that the company is equipped to handle the challenges posed by tariffs due to its substantial size. CNN remarks that Trump's tariffs might inadvertently benefit Europe, rather than the United States, by potentially reducing inflation.